Chiswick, and I'm the principal here at Kurtz Elementary School. And we are excited to spend the evening with you this evening and talk to you a little bit about the kindergarten program at Kurtz. I'm very excited to be joined this evening by our Kurtz teachers and Mrs. Hancock from our front office. Very excited. We will begin our presentation. All right. Again, we're very excited to have you here this evening. Welcome to Kurtz Elementary School's kindergarten orientation.
I can't.
Oh, I am so sorry. Welcome to Huron Valley Schools. One of the things that we love about our building and our community is that we start here at the elementary level and we collaborate all the way up from elementary school all the way to high school. We are building the vision from our elementary level all the way up. We're inspiring and building futures, one student at a time. What does it mean to live our mission? Well, we differentiate learning. We make opportunities for every child happen every day. Your family becomes a part of our family, and that is just such a huge part of what we do here at Kurtz. We love our classrooms. Our classrooms are set up together. This year, Mrs. Dinnan and Mrs. Hess took out the wall in between, and you'll actually be able to see so many great things happening across the kindergarten setting. Once you move on from at Kurtz Elementary, at the middle school level, most of our students feed into Oak Valley and Muir Middle School. And then our students transition up to our high schools. Most of our students do go to Milford High School, but we have a number of students that go to Lakeland as well. I'd like to introduce our kindergarten team, starting with myself. My name is Steve Chiswick. This is my 7th year. Next year will be my 8th year at Kurtz Elementary School. I've worked in Huron Valley my entire career. I was a teacher at Spring Mills. Then I was an administrator. I was a building principal at Brooks. And again, I've been here at Kurtz for 7 years. Be 8 years next year. We are so focused in this building about on making opportunities for our kids, having you feel like a part of our family. I can tell you, as a parent of a recent graduate of Milford High School, my son went from Johnson to Muir to Milford High School. We just have had a great experience. We live locally, and ultimately, just a little bit of information about where my mind is. I'm always focused on creating and maintaining the Kurtz experience. I call it the Kurtz experience because I truly believe that our families are a part of our building, are part of our Kurtz family, and truly are ready for some great opportunities that are created after that solid foundation is established. I'm a technology integrator. I'm kind of a tech geek myself. That is something that I brought to Kurtz. I'm standing right now in our STEM lab, our computer lab that has truly developed over these last few years into something very special for our students. But ultimately, my goal is always to create opportunities for all of our kids. Mrs. Dinnan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I've been teaching in the Huron Valley Schools and at Kurtz for, I think it's my 25th year. Joan and I actually started teaching the same time. So, and I've taught kindergarten most of my time, but I did teach first grade for 2 years. And then I spent the rest of my time in kindergarten. I have 2 children, and I enjoy boating and spending time with my family out on our lake. I love animals, and let's see, one of my favorite places to visit is actually the beach, Huntington Beach in California.
Mrs. Hess.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Hess, and Susan and I started teaching together at Kurtz Elementary in the 90s. Anyway, so I've taught kindergarten, started in kindergarten, then I taught first and second grade Maltage for many years, and then came back to kindergarten, which I love. We have two little boys. I have a first grader at Kurtz, and I'll have a kindergartner at Kurtz next year. And I enjoy spending time with family and friends, just kind of hanging out, doing stuff. And I love to travel. Not as easy with children, but I do love to travel, and we like to visit family in Arizona. So happy to be here at Kurtz, and looking forward to another new year, another new group of kindergartners.
Mrs. Latimer.
Hi, I'm Miss Latimer. I am the new kid, I guess, on the block. It's my 7th year teaching here at Kurtz. It will be my 8th year. I'm teaching kindergarten at Kurtz with these two lovely ladies. Prior to that, I taught preschool in another district. And prior to that, worked in a Montessori, helped run a Montessori school. I stayed home for a couple of years. I am the mother of 3 children. And we have a lot of animals. We love our animals. We are all weather sports people, and we love to travel. And my youngest daughter and I breed and raise and show rabbits. So we're looking forward also to another year, hopefully back here at the building. And obviously the 3 of us are sitting together here because we're fully vaccinated. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to be able to talk to people and see their full faces again. But we're so looking forward to next year being together again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask, this is a live streaming event, so feel free to add your questions into the chat on YouTube. Mr. Lindberg is here from our TLT team. Good evening, Mr. Lindberg.
Good evening, Mr. Chiswick.
Thank you for being here for us tonight. I'm just going to ask you to keep track of the comments that are coming up in the chat. At the very end, we'll be happy to answer questions that come up. I will say, though, that there are so many uncertainties about what the landscape of our kindergarten program is going to look like when it comes to COVID-19 and the pandemic. So I'm going to really ask that parents hold on to those questions. I will have more information for you as we get closer to August, as far as where we are as a country, where we are in the state of Michigan, ultimately where we're at in Oakland County, and certainly where we're at in Huron Valley and Kurtz, as we get closer to that school year. But again, as great as I am with technology, I have not been able to pull out any technology that helps me to jump into the future and see what's going on. So just bear with us. Our focus here at Kurtz is truly like no other. We're always focused on the whole child. Just hearing a little bit from our team, I can tell you we have very diverse skill sets. We all complement one another, and ultimately we work very hard to not only do what is amazing in our classrooms, but we're very focused on growing together as a team and collaborating together as a team at Kurtz Elementary School. Our social emotional focus has been a big focus of ours this year as we've gone in and out of our virtual learning and our face-to-face learning, our 4 days to our 5 days. We've been very well aware of what's going on with our families and our students outside of the school day that sometimes bleeds into the school day. Our focus is very intentional. We have a wonderful full-time social worker here at Kurtz Elementary School, Mrs. Smith, who is very engaged and is always looking to build relationships with students. We also have a part-time social worker that runs groups 1 day a week. So ultimately, we're looking at the whole child from many different lenses and trying to make sure that we address issues wherever those issues may be, and quite frankly, whatever those issues may be. If they propose themselves as obstacles for our young learners, that is enough for us to really zero in and see what we can do in order to make sure that our students leave us with that solid foundation.
So is it okay if I step in here?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we also think a lot about the whole child when we look at our kindergarten curriculum. That cognitive piece is actually much larger than it was when you or I went to kindergarten. That's the academic piece, but we have to remember that we are addressing the whole child. We're looking at the social emotional growth, the physical growth, the language, and their interactions, so that if they can grow as a balanced child, then as they grow older, they'll be more adept to higher curriculums and all the demands of being able to interact with other children, because that is so much of our learning now. Here's a picture of our classroom, and I think it was. So thank you. So your child's day, they're going to come in ready to go. And we always try and tell parents, like, if you're going to be the mom who does everything for your, does lots for your children, just come out that way, but leave it at the door. Like, when they come here, this is their place to be independent. They're going to come in, and I think the next slide would be helpful. And it's going to be, I'm sorry, slides are mixed up. All right, so they're going to come in from buses and cars and Schoolage Care, and we're going to help your children practice. We're going to practice morning routines and arrival routines. All right, next slide. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. So children enter the classroom and they have time to practice independence. So you see some kids taking care of their boots, taking care of their belongings in their cubby basket or mailbox, taking care of their backpacks. So they learn their routines, and so that they know what to do each day. And we say we go slow to go fast. So we'll spend a lot of the beginning of the year learning about these steps, so that as time goes on, they come in, it's independent, and then we can get right to work. Class meetings are also a part of our routine. Not only do we do calendar, where we incorporate lots of math and literacy skills, we're also building our classroom community, and kids are getting to know each other and how to interact with each other. And at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of routine learning here as well. Feel free to pipe in anytime, guys, if you have anything else to say. Sure. Well, that's me too. All right, sorry. Snack time. So we do, at least at this point, we have a morning snack and an afternoon snack. And we find that the little ones tend to be kind of grazers, so that we can't count on lunch as being their only meal. So if you'll think of snacks as kind of being like mini meals, like just something like nutritious and protein packed, and also for lunch and afternoon, instead of some of those empty carb things, then it helps them to get through the end of the day and not be starving when they get in the car or the bus, although they probably will be anyway, right? So please send in those nutritious snacks.
Our literacy program, a portion of our literacy program is the phonics program with 3 pieces to it: our phonics, our reader's workshop, our writer's workshop. On a daily basis, we are doing phonics lessons, and we are doing phonemic awareness activities to help build those reading and writing skills throughout the year. They are daily, and they are, the program is research-based, and we have been implementing this particular program, all 3 pieces of it, for a couple of years now. And we have seen some great success with kids responding to the phonics and phonemic awareness, helping to spill over into the reading and writing. Writing workshop. We use the Lucy Calkins program, and it it helps to build skills in a way that students can be successful no matter where they are. Obviously, Writers Workshop looks different for every student from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. But we have seen and had some great success with kids making tremendous strides and showing tremendous growth from the beginning to the end, because the expectation realistically is developmentally appropriate, that we start from where they are, we meet the kids where they are, and we help to build their skills to where they can be by the end of the year.
And the literacy growth in a year is so amazing.
It's
at this
amazing.
level.
Yes. And we have a couple examples right there from the beginning of the year through the middle of the year and to the end of the year. And although we have the same expectations for the end of the year for each student, we realistically know that not every student's writing looks the same at the end of the year. It all looks a little bit different, but comparing the pieces from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, you can see how far that they've come. As the slide says, Readers Workshop is a big deal in kindergarten. Readers and Writers Workshop are based on a model that we do the same procedures each day. We have a short mini lesson. For example, in Readers Workshop, we have a mini lesson that focuses on a certain key point of reading. And then the students go off individually and they practice that skill that was just taught. And then they meet with a partner and they read for a few minutes, and then they put their things away, come back, and we meet and talk about what they learned and what they practiced. And then those skills build throughout the week and eventually throughout the year. But the units are divided into specific sequences of learning that will help to build their reading skills. Again, all three pieces are Lucy Calkins based, research based, so they tie together very nicely, the reading, the writing, and the phonics.
Lunch is will be one of your children's favorite times of the day. So one important thing though is being able to have your child open the things on their own. So as you can see in this slide, we have pictures of bento boxes. I think it's like a Planet lunchbox. And as you can see, those things, the children have easy access to the items in their lunchbox so that they don't, have to ask a lunch person to help them open the things. And I think that if they can access the food quickly and easily, then they will eat more of their lunch during lunchtime, because they only have a certain amount of time to eat their lunch, and then they do go outside for recess after that. So, and your child can bring a lunch to school, or they can also purchase a hot lunch daily.
20 minutes is very fast.
Yeah,
that's why
quick.
That's why I spread
quick,
it out
yeah.
with the snacks too, because it's just
so
such a short
making
time.
the food easily accessible for your child, such as these examples, will make it much easier during lunchtime.
So then they go outside after lunch, and as the weather is nicer, we spend much more time outside. Especially with COVID, we've done so much of our learning outside. But in the cold, we get them outside at least once a day, unless it's extreme weather. And it's essential for move the body and to re-energize the brain and the body. They really need this, man. Some days they don't go outside. It's a long afternoon.
Yes.
So it really does help. But what we ask from you is that you please send shoes and clothes that are comfortable for active play, and always have an extra set of shoes or boots so that when they go out in the mud, they can have something else to change into. And we'll talk more about that when the year starts, but always have an extra set of clothes at school.
And please use the independent.
Oh,
Yes.
please.
Shoes and boots.
Yeah, don't
Make sure
go
they
for those the tie laces.
No
Yeah.
lace up high tops.
So many options now where you can use slip-on, Velcro. Yeah, and make sure they can zipper their own jackets, put on their hats and their gloves and their snow pants. We'll work with them as well, but that's something you could really work on this as school approaches. Yeah.
All right, math is one of the fun things that we like to do in the afternoon after lunch. And this is a time, for practicing their skills and building on those number skills, those number sense skills. Some of the main concepts that we teach are counting, adding, addition and subtraction. And by the end of kindergarten, we're hoping that everyone can count to 100, by ones and by tens. And we do a lot of different hands-on activities to build those number skills in the classroom. And as you can see from the pictures, we do a lot of activities that help them to learn number and sets, not just with paper pencil activities, but with more hands-on activities as well.
And of course, I'm looking at these pictures, fully enjoying seeing these children and thinking these were pre-COVID.
Oh, clearly,
yes,
it's a mix.
Clearly,
It's a mix of COVID and pre-COVID. So if you see children without masks, clearly pre-COVID.
When time for students, what I need time. We have a few assessments that we do with students that help to identify kids who may need specific skill instruction. And so our literacy team, the literacy coach, along with the parapros, will help us by taking kids in small groups to work on those skills with them once students are identified as needing a little more work in a specific skill area. The beauty of this program of Win Time is that the kids who are out in small groups are getting what they need, while the other students who are still in the classroom with us are getting what they need. So it works out and it balances very well. And we usually see great progress with those kids who work in the small groups. And it's, depending on the year and how many students, it's usually a time that we don't have built within our day to be able to work with that many kids in small groups.
And it's a fluid group too. So it might be that your child might be in there for a month or 2 months, or maybe they're in the club, but either way, they get what they need.
For sure.
Okay, science and social studies are also two subjects that are taught throughout the day. And, we like to focus on fun, especially when the weather's nice. We like to do a lot of those things outside, fun outdoor activities. And, we like to think of them as little scientists. So we often we'll do some science experiments outside, and we like to do fun science experiments inside as well. So we make it very hands-on and fun when we're teaching both science and social studies in the classroom. All right, so children learn about and represent the world in different ways. We teach about different cultures and how, different holidays. And we really respect children's differences in the classroom.
All right. Inside play, well, as well as outside play, gives children opportunities to make choices, socialize appropriately, learn to get along and have disagreements in a safe place where they can learn how to communicate with their concerns with each other, to collaborate and plan and be creative and practice skills and so much more. And so much of our play is interlinks with our curriculum or events going on, like we had St. Patrick's Day, and we've been working a lot on STEM play with rubber ramps and all sorts of ramps and building blocks, and within our dramatic play areas. And the children use their skills in those play areas to build leprechaun traps, and they wrote how-to stories about it, and then they had to explain what their work afterwards. So that was really fun. But we really worked for them to be able to plan ahead and think about their play and make it meaningful. We really need to build that right side of the brain, because as play is removed from the learning, then we're doing more left brain work, and as we all, it's play in a different way, but we want to make sure we develop the whole child in the right and left brain. So that's for that picture. And here's some purposeful play. You can see some of the ramps, and we have a Target area and a market and a kitchen and lots of magnetiles and Legos and things that develop play skills that lead into all other sorts of learning.
Specials. Okay, so we have 4 different specials that your children will go to: art, physical education, music, and library. And they will go to each of these specials once a week. In the afternoons is when we have our specials also.
That's still you.
Okay, these are just some of fun pictures of some fun activities that we did in our classroom this year. You know, one was Valentine's Day. 100th Day was a really big and fun day. And then there's one with Mr. Chiswick when we had our school-wide fun run. So that was fun. Those are all.
We do our best to tie all these like
Fun
things to our
activities.
curriculum,
Yep.
but to still make it extra.
To still
fun.
make it fun.
It's also a nice way to involve parents if it's not COVID, but we still are doing our best.
All right, technology, plays a huge part in your child's learning as well. And we were able to get so many cool things through Donors Choose projects that all 3 of us have written. And we have been able to access Osmos, coding robots, and we use our smart boards daily. And we also use our Chromebooks and iPads. And as you can see in this slide, there are pictures of kids using the little coding robots. And there's another picture of kids using the iPads as we hook up to Osmos, which help with language arts and math and science skills as well. So they love using all of those things too to build on their STEM activities.
And Mrs. Denon is our expert kindergarten technology teacher.
So, and they love using all of this technology, but it was through the use of a lot of the Donors Choose projects that we were able to obtain all of this awesome technology for our classrooms.
All right. And here's where we want to tell you that whatever next year looks like, we're still going to make it the best year possible for your children. This year we came into this year wondering what it was going to look like, and we didn't know. And we've learned hybrid and virtual and in-person 4 days and then in-person 5 days. So we've gone through a lot of different platforms, but each time we've taken a step back and thought, how can we make this the best possible experience for our students? And we did some really fun things in the fall.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
Just going.
But the kids have really excelled. Depending on which platform we were in, the kids adapted and they adjusted, and they have been doing great.
We did some
this
distance
year.
learning outside with a teacher on a wagon and swimming pools and distance learning outside. And it's been a really wonderful year. And we're surprised at how much, not surprised because we worked hard, but the kids have really learned.
They've grown a lot.
So much. It's been really a great year. And next year will be 2. That's your
We started this year using Seesaw as a platform for not only communicating with our families, but providing the kids with activities to do on a regular basis. I love that you incorporated, and no matter what, virtual. So this year, I have been teaching in the virtual academy with the kindergartners, and Mrs. Hess and Mrs. Denon have been here in school doing face-to-face. But we have all seen the benefits of being able to use Seesaw on a consistent basis with the students to be able to provide them with activities and practice that don't require us to send home paper as much as we
or collect it even.
Or collect it, yes.
And it's a great way. It's a great way to document your child's progress. We can also post pictures on there, which is a little bit different when you're teaching virtual, but we've been able to do that. And also the parent communication piece that we use that, right? Just for that is how we will communicate with you, is through Seesaw.
We also, actually, Mrs. Denon is probably the most diligent at using Twitter to share the things happening in the classroom with you parents at home, since you can't be in the classroom, not just this year, but we have volunteers, but not on a regular basis, not on a daily basis. And we understand that these are your babies and this is their first time being away from you for so long. And we want to make sure that you have the benefit of being able to see what special and amazing things that they're doing throughout the day. Because we also, as parents, know that as soon as you ask at the end of the day what they did, it's usually nothing. But it's a lot of something.
For sure.
So helping your child get ready for success. I know all three of us are going to pipe in on this. In the past, I think of all the orientations, it is my favorite thing to say that we here at school, we, your teachers, are starting to prepare your children potentially for jobs that don't even exist yet. I know, especially this year alone in COVID, there are a lot of jobs that didn't exist a year ago. That people are now working in, areas and fields that people are now working in. So looking at this list, and as Mrs. Hess said earlier, kindergarten today is not the kindergarten it was even 5 years ago. There is a heavy emphasis on the academic piece. And so there are things that we suggest that would help to prepare your child to make kindergarten year and transition into kindergarten just a little bit easier for them and for you. And this list includes practicing upper and lowercase letters and their sounds, practicing counting and reading numbers, practice recognizing and writing their own name with upper and lowercase, using scissors, glue sticks, and bottle glue, practice independent skills, practice listening and following directions, and cleaning up after themselves. And it's not to say that we won't be working on these on a daily basis with your students. We absolutely will. But there are a lot of things that you can do at home that will help to prepare them for being in the classroom with other students who may potentially be already practicing those skills as well.
So you make a good point when you say it kind of gives your kid a head start. If they have these skills, it's going to be a lot easier to move on to higher level skills.
Yes.
For sure. I think that ends our portion. At dismissal. Sorry, I'll do that. At dismissal, your child will be brought to where they need to be safely, and however that looks in whatever COVID or not COVID world. We have one of us takes kids to the buses, or we have safeties, or they go to the cars or the backside. We're always making sure that they get where they need to be, but we'll be having a lot of communication with you before school starts. And in those first couple of weeks, as we help you figure out what is best. But you can start thinking ahead of thinking, do I want to pick my kid up in the car? Do I want to walk? Do I want to put them on the bus? You can start thinking about that, and then we will help you to figure out those logistics as that comes up.
And it's very much a team effort. It's not one of us with our own class.
And I think overall, we all work on everything together. We teach the same thing. We all have different strengths, and like we were saying, Susan's the basic technology, and I'm a big literacy and play, and you're also literacy. And
so your child's going to know all three of us, because all three of us are going to be, teaching your child and working with your child as well.
And I'd go as far as to say all four of us, ladies.
All four of us.
Absolutely. Yes. I wanted to just elaborate on the pickup and drop off process. They absolutely are amazing in this building. The entire staff is on. At drop off in the morning, if you are dropping your child off in the car loop, we have teachers. Every teacher meets their classroom outside. This was a practice we had in place for a great deal of time before even COVID began. It gives our teachers a chance to connect with our kids, kind of get a sense of maybe who needs a little bit extra that day, who might be upset about something or who's worried about something. Just really be able to engage with our kids on the other end of the spectrum. Just put that smile on your child's face. Get them excited to get to school and meet their teacher. And then the teacher will take them into the classroom together as a team. So that's how the day begins. Again, we have all of our specials teachers, myself, our social worker, and all the teachers are all on deck during drop-off in the morning. Kids get off the bus, they're escorted to the building, they enter through those same lines with the students that are dropped off. At the end of the day, our teams are also on deck. They are waiting to release our students out to the cars. We have teachers and myself, staff members, that make sure that kids get to cars and buses. And we do that safely. It's very organized. And I will say it is certainly a point of pride here at Kurtz, and ultimately, hopefully, something that you can take it, understand that this is not something to worry about. Our teachers, especially our kindergarten teachers, go out of their way to make sure that students are always supervised and always are able to get where they need to be. We do have a junior kindergarten option in Huron Valley. We did not have a junior kindergarten this year, but we did have it we did not have it in 2021, but we did have it previously. It is one of those programs that is offered based on need. So if we were to get a certain amount of students, parents that are interested in a junior kindergarten experience in Huron Valley, we may have an option at Kurtz, but we certainly have options, I believe, at both Johnson and multiple options at Country Oaks, which are the two closest buildings to Kurtz. And junior kindergarten is really about slowing down a bit and spending a little bit more time on play, like Mrs. Hess has been talking about, really that relationship piece and that preparation for school piece that sometimes our kids just benefit from. That would be followed by a full year of kindergarten, our regular kindergarten, our normal full day kindergarten experience that we are just talking about in this presentation. HVVA is also an option. Mrs. Latimer spoke a little bit about being an HVVA teacher. Because of COVID this year, our central office team and ultimately our Board of Education supported the creation of a virtual format for our students. We had almost, 2,000 students enrolled in the virtual process this year. We have 35 sections just at the elementary level alone this year, where students are in their living rooms, in the kitchen, at the kitchen table, or in their bedrooms, online, working with Huron Valley teachers. And I will say the Huron Valley Virtual Academy this year really did create something special. I will tell you, Mrs. Latimer, as a kindergarten teacher, is not alone, but certainly went above and beyond to not only present content to her students, but really to make that Kurtz experience happen for her students, not only from Kurtz, but from other buildings as well. So the Huron Valley Virtual Academy will be an option for the 21-22 school year. You can find more information about the Virtual Academy on the Huron Valley website. There is a Huron Valley link and a great handbook that our central office team, our teacher leaders put together this year for the HVVA with the collaboration of the building principals and HVVA staff members. So that is available for you online. Please feel free to take a look at that. And you can also find contact information if you're looking for just a little bit more information on what Huron Valley Virtual Academy could potentially offer for junior kindergartners and kindergartners in the 21-22 school year. Registration information. I talked about the Huron Valley website. This is the banner. You saw it behind me on the computer. You're just gonna click on the banner, and you'll be able to link to information on registration. We will have information, we will have registration blocks scheduled for parents to come into the building or come to the building and drop off materials. We're going to need some materials. You'll find this on the website. What we need: birth certificate copies that we're going to need, immunizations and things like that. Not COVID immunizations, but ultimately your normal pre-COVID and vaccinations, I should say. And Mrs. Hancock, do you have anything that you wanted to add about the virtual or the registration process?
Hi. You know what? I think the most important part is that the parents go online and they fill out the online application. And of course, if they have any questions, feel free to call us here. We'll receive that application. We have 4 days set aside that we will be blocking time off for parents to bring in all the documents that they need. And again, all those documents are listed there on the website there. We are always a phone call away, but the biggest thing is to go online and to complete that online application.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
just a little bit about really just some exciting information. Your child's kindergarten or junior kindergarten year next year, 21-22, Kurtz is scheduled to have some work done. As you can see in these pictures, our bond did pass last year. That means that we are going to have not only technology upgrades, but building upgrades for the first time in a long time. So if you're familiar with our Kurtz building, and ultimately every building in Huron Valley, we are not a free access building. All visitors check in at the front door. They're buzzed in, or they're received, I should say, by the office. We have no parents right now because of COVID walking through the building at any point. We like to refer to it as keeping our bubble intact. I'm not sure what that's going to look like for next year, but ultimately we're going to have a nice welcome center that will be in the front of the building. It's going to be a very interesting experience this time next year. The main office will be moved. A new piece of real estate will be put right in front of the building. Lots of windows for safety. Lots of locked access points so that we can not only see through the windows, but ultimately also the addition of additional cameras so that we can actually keep a great eye on everything that goes on in our building. We're very excited for these upgrades. And I just wanted to really take a minute just to say thank you to our voters for supporting the bond of BSSF. And ultimately, again, you're going to see those new pieces of the building that are added very soon. The updates will not only include architecture, but they will actually be in the form of desks and chairs, student desks and student chairs, and things that are going to they're going to really freshen up our building. So I'm super excited for that. All right. I'm going to just remind everyone that I'm not really taking those questions about the COVID specific questions. This year, we are following and we will continue to follow our guidelines that are presented by the CDC and ultimately our Oakland County Health Department. I'm just going to get out of here and get back to you.
I think maybe we lost Steve. I'm not sure. I think he's looking at questions. Mr. Lindberg, are you giving us questions?
Yes, I am giving questions, and we do have Mr. Chiswick back.
Yay, there he is. Hooray.
Lindberg, do you have
Fearless leader.
Yeah, there are no questions. And again, to the parents watching, if there are questions you want to put in the live chat right now, we can ask them. Really, there was just a quick thank you to the Kurtz staff. They've said that everyone's been great through this crazy year. It's a great school, better staff.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It is an outstanding staff here at Kurtz, ladies and gentlemen. I don't just say that, I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Starting at the office with Lisa and Mrs. Hancock and Mrs. Spohr in the front office, all the way through the entire building. Our community is exceptional, and we just can't. I just can't say enough positive about our team.
So, Mr. Chiswick, there is one question. Do you know how many students will be in this class, or will that be decided closer to August?
So actually, we just I think we are just put out. When did that survey go out, Mr. Lindberg? Did that just go out? The survey asking parents about next year?
Yeah, it's been out for a couple of weeks now, but parents have until April 30th.
Okay, thank you so much. So our hope is that you are letting us know what your interest is for next year. So if you are a Kurtz family that has been in the HVVA, or if you've been outside of Huron Valley, but you are interested in coming into Huron Valley, please make sure that you fill out that survey due before April 30th. We totally understand, and I've definitely heard a lot from our community members that are concerned about making a decision for April 30th. But ultimately, in order to properly staff our building and all the buildings in the district, we need to just make sure that we know what parents' intentions are. So we're very hopeful that we have a solid understanding of how many sections we can have. With the advent of the Huron Valley Virtual Academy and and the COVID-19 pandemic this year, we went from 3 sections of all classes to 2 sections of all classes. And we have 4 outstanding Kurtz teachers that have been teaching in the Virtual Academy all year. So ultimately, not just in kindergarten, but in all of our grade levels, the more of our students that feel comfortable back in the building setting, that will have a significant impact in what our classes look like.
And Mr. Chiswick, just to make sure I answered her question correctly, what is the average class size for kindergarten?
Well, it really depends on the year. We max out at 72. No, I'm just kidding. We max out.
Don't say that.
That one was for you. We max out at, Joan, what's the max?
28.
28.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. In kindergarten. So that is the possibility. Joan, how many kids do you have in your class right now?
18. Generally, it's about 24, it seems.
20, yeah.
That seems to be I would say an average.
And
Well,
Susan, where are you at right now?
We each have 18 children in our class right now, so
Very nice.
nice class size.
It's
Yeah,
really great.
it is.
Yeah, but that number does go up, and like Mrs. Hess said, we are more than used to that 24, 25 number.
Okay, great. And a question was just asked about the maximum class size. You answered that as 28, but generally you're in the 24 range of students.
Mhm.
Another parent was asking, are there any additional resources for kids with special needs, such as autism?
Well, we actually house our point of pride. One of our greatest points of pride for the building is our program for students with cognitive impairments. Kurtz may not be the most ethnically diverse neighborhood. Milford may not be that type of neighborhood. So we look to embrace all diversity, and that includes our students with those special needs. They are our heart. We call them our Kurtz cats. And in a normal year, we do a lot more of mainstreaming and those types of opportunities, and have many more opportunities for our general ed kids to work with our CAT students in order to make those great opportunities for our students to learn empathy, to be role models and leaders, even at the kindergarten level. I will tell you that our team brought in the CATS program to Kurtz Elementary School probably 4 years ago now, and our priority was getting them into classrooms. I will tell you, and I'm just going to say, Mrs. Hess, a couple of years ago had twins, 2 students in our CATS program, and she fought to increase their time that they spent in her classroom because she just understood that it was such a benefit for those students. So we are always looking to integrate all students with all types of experiences and skill sets and make opportunities happen for those kids.
I think that parent may have been referencing a student in the general education classroom, and so I could address that if you'd like.
Okay.
We do have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 intervention, tier 1 being our classroom, tier 2 being, we talked about that, what I need time, that win time, where they would go into groups, and we have tier 3, which is our special education department, and we have a wonderful, awesome special education teacher who is a resource room teacher. But whether or not a child with autism would be, which tier they would be in, we're not sure. You'd have to look and see if is that a 504, is that a special ed kind of thing. So we take everything on an individual basis and make sure that your child gets what they need based on diagnoses or need. And we do have our PBIS room where we do teach children who have 504 plans or need extra help to regulate and acclimate and to get back into the classroom. Does that answer that question, do you think?
I think it does. And I just wanted to double down on the notion of ASD or autism specifically. We do have programs at both Lakewood and no, I think the programs are all at Lakewood now.
It's upper and lower are at Heritage. Our upper CI, our upper cognitively impaired program is at Heritage. We have lower cognitively impaired, but all the ASD kids we have a wonderful program at Lakewood.
Yes.
Yep, I think you guys covered that very well. Thank you. Another question, is there any status available for the likelihood of school age care?
Well, I'm taking resumes every day, any day. The only reason we do not have school age care at Kurtz this year is because we just cannot find somebody that will work before and after school. We've had my whole career as an administrator, we've always worked so hard to fill that spot. And we've always, even in the worst case scenarios, have had someone that was interested in being a part of it. But I don't know if it has to do with COVID. I know even last year prior to COVID, we did have some difficulty filling that position. But please give Jackie and I a call if you are interested in potentially even partnering with somebody in providing school age care. So that is our intention, that we would love to have that. That is something that, just as a member of the community, you deserve. But if I can't hire somebody for the job, there's nothing I can do. So I will tell you, though, that Mr. Bruger, Mrs. Kasar, both our PE and our music teacher, they recognize the challenges and they really try to empower our opportunities for students before and after school, so that even though it's not school age care and something that would happen every school day, it is something that would happen frequently that you could enroll your child in and be a part of. But I know it's not school age care. That is not a substitute for school age care, but please let me know if you're interested.
Also, to add to that in Milford, people say that it takes a village, and I think you'll find that the networking here is pretty awesome. That you could probably partner with other families to meet your needs for before and after school care.
Okay, that is all the questions that I have. The special needs question, the parent felt you answered it very well and said thank you.
You're very welcome.
That is all for now.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please, let's get that registration information taken care of. Go to the website, click right on the kindergarten registration icon and get that paperwork filled out. Mrs. Hancock and Mrs. Spohr will be in contact with you to set up times so that you could come in, get things taken care of, and we can start moving ahead with locking you in for your child's 21-22 school year.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
See you on K-Day, yes.
If we have one, we hope to have K-Day. Forgot to say that.
Yeah, that is unknown at this time, but
we don't know if we're going to have one or not, but we'll be communicating, and we're going to be signing you up for Seesaw in a class that's just for us. Just forgot to mention that. So be looking for email communication.
Yep. And I will say just one last thing. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Yes. We are constantly posting information for you, and we'll be posting through the summer as well. I value your partnership, and ultimately I look at social media as an opportunity to have an open house when the house is closed because of our pandemic situation. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Yes, bye. See you.
Bye.
See you soon.